We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is August 29th, 2024. I am off today. Just woke up, fed the cats, so I figured I'd do a podcast. And later today, whenever my wife gets home, we should be watching Zodiac, I believe, and then doing a movie review on it later. So, I don't know. Just depends on how I feel. I might knock out some podcasts today, quite a few if I can. But yeah, there's been a lot of interest that I've noticed around the logo of Starbucks. And if you remember on Leave the World Behind, the movie, after the beach scene with the white lion, which is not in the book, they go to Starbucks. And they do go to Starbucks in the book too. So, I don't know. We're going to do a little deep dive on the Starbucks logo. I guess it's got some occult meaning to it. So, I hope you enjoy, and then we'll do some chapters after that. So, the Starbucks logo, history, meaning, evolution, hidden details, and visual identity. And this is an article by Mary Kayamko. So, Starbucks is the most famous coffee house in the world, and like the Apple logo for Apple, Starbucks branding has contributed to the company's success. The distinct Starbucks logo in green and white has become so recognizable that Starbucks didn't even put the company's name on it. The company operates in almost 80 countries with over 30,000 stores worldwide. By 2018, Starbucks was selling over 4 million cups of coffee daily and shows no signs of slowing down. How did Starbucks become so successful? And how has its visual identity contributed to the country's success? And what makes the unique twin-tailed siren and its logo so iconic? This article will tackle the Starbucks logo's history, meaning, evolution, and hidden details to explore why the unique twin-tailed siren has become one of the most famous logos today. So, Starbucks origin. 3 college students founded Starbucks: Gordon Bowker, Zev Ziegel, and Jerry Baldwin, which Baldwin we all know is a royal name. It is royalty, like Alec Baldwin. But I don't know the other 2 guys. I don't know Jerry Baldwin either. It was founded on March 30th, 1971. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe we could do some deep dives. Maybe if you guys know anything about the Starbucks founders, let me know if they're shady. Have you ever wondered why it's called Starbucks? The company was initially named Pequod, inspired by the classic American novel Moby Dick. But the company name was later changed to Starbucks, taken from Pequod's chief mate, Starbuck. The first physical store was established in Seattle's historic Pike Place Market, allowing customers to take home fresh roasted coffee beans, tea, and spices. History and meaning of the Starbucks logo. Starbucks originally had a brown brand color and theme instead of its current iconic green branding, but after Howard Schultz joined the company in 1982, Starbucks started rebranding and swapped brown to green in 1987. Schultz was appointed as Starbucks CEO that same year. Terry Heckler designed the first Starbucks logo. He based the famous two-tailed siren on a 16th century Norse woodcut. Old Marine books inspired him. Later, Starbucks would embark on a series of logo redesigns, but the iconic siren consistently remained the center of its logo refreshes. The Starbucks logo is unique for a reason. Here's the meaning of some of its elements. The font. The Starbucks logo's font has always been simple and bold. It's a sans serif font, spelling out of the brand name clearly for people to read, but in the current iteration of the logo, the company's name doesn't appear. The colors were used for its current logo are green and white. Green is the background color symbolizing wealth, healing, and nature. White is used as the main siren symbol representing simplicity and cleanliness. So honestly, just playing devil's advocate, that doesn't really sound too dark. Just saying. Shape. Starbucks has always sported a circular logo, one of the most common shapes in graphic design. A circle-shaped logo appears neat, simple, and easy to recognize. It could also mean a never-ending struggle to achieve one's goals. Icon. The twin-tailed siren represents the sea and Seattle, the place of origin for Starbucks. There's no confirmed reason why the siren was used for the Starbucks logo, but many believe it represents mystique, obsession, and addiction. Evolution of the Starbucks logo. 1971. The original Starbucks logo was designed with a topless siren, a fully visible torso, and twin tails. The design wasn't as crisp as the newer version since a wooden carving inspired it. The original design's siren was enclosed in a circular ring with the text Starbucks Coffee, Tea, and Spices, highlighting the main products sold at the company's first coffee shop. The logo's first brand was coffee brown. 1987. After Howard Schultz took over the company in 1987, the Starbucks logo received a significant refresh. The new logo aimed to soothe customers' eyes by using the colors green, white, and black, representing freshness, opportunity, and growth. The new Starbucks logo also sported recent changes in some of its elements, including the siren, which is flowier in design than the more detailed original brown logo. The text has also changed to Starbucks Coffee, which was more in line with the company's main product. 1992. Starbucks underwent a logo redesign in 1992, with the siren more up close and no longer showing its entire body. The signature twin tails are still visible through the frame with no changes to its colors, text, or shape. But this logo design quickly became problematic for Starbucks as the design was easy to replicate. More and more people worldwide began to sell knockoff Starbucks products, making it difficult for consumers to differentiate real from fake. In 2008, in celebration of Starbucks' 40th anniversary, the brand attempted a rebranding effort. The company decided to reimagine its original logo, probably inspired by the new hipster movement of the year. The company received a massive backlash from the public, and the rebranding attempt failed as many people had become all too familiar with the signature green branding. In 2011, Starbucks heard the plea of its customers and decided to bring back its signature branding with a twist. Starbucks recognized its strong branding and fame leading to its new modern and minimalistic logo design. In 2011, Starbucks redesigned its logo and removed signature elements from its previous logos, including the text, stars, and the black background color. The brand is famous enough that the logo is still recognizable even without these familiar elements. Hidden details behind the Starbucks logo. The siren is the main icon in the Starbucks logo. At first glance, it appears to be perfect and symmetrical. However, years of designs have inspired designers to apply subtle changes to reflect real-world realities. For example, during the logo revamp in 2011, the designers decided to smooth out the imperfections of the siren in the logo, making her face more symmetrical. They wanted to make the logo cleaner and crisper than its original logo. But after several years, the logo refreshes, the designers were still unsatisfied. Ultimately, they decided to put in an element of humanity by making the siren's eyes asymmetrical. Shadow of the right eye is more elongated than the left. One eye symbolism. Why does the Starbucks logo work? The Starbucks logo is effective because it tells a story, albeit not related to coffee. Your logo should reflect what you do as a business, but you can also consider other aspects of your brand, such as what inspired it, its place of origin, and more to telling a compelling story. For example, the center of the Starbucks logo is the twin-tailed siren, which represents many things, including the novel that inspired it, Starbucks' place of origin, mystery, and more, which leaves people thinking. Starbucks brand colors are also unique, as most coffee houses use brown or darker shades to reflect their products. Green and white are natural colors that we can see in nature. These colors soothe people's eyes and help differentiate Starbucks from its competitors. All these aspects of its visual's identity have helped Starbucks develop memorable, and distinctive branding for its customers. Starbucks continues to enjoy its success because of the three key factors: a strong visual identity, a compelling brand story, and the commitment always to put its customers at the heart of its business, and of course, a good cup of coffee. So, when developing your brand, remember to learn from Starbucks. Find ways to be unique and look for opportunities to differentiate from competitors. So here's a couple fun facts I found interesting. The CIA also enjoys Starbucks. It's no secret that many people want a cup of Starbucks. Even the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia has its own Starbucks store. So, I don't know. I just found that one interesting. I mean, you all know how I feel about the CIA. But yeah, I think that's it as far as Starbucks. Maybe we'll do a little deeper dive on the siren and stuff. Chapter 29. Maybe Amanda was greedy, sometimes not knowing what else to do. You had sex. Clay would make, another sex scene. Clay would make her feel better, not psychically, but physically. She let him carry her away from herself. In the body she was, far from the mind. She opened herself to it. Though maybe the vodka helped, she consented. More than. She wanted it. She pushed off her humid underwear. She lay back on the bright white duvet. The clothes she was packing up fell to the wood floor. The shirt Clay wore remembered the sudden sweat, a fear response to that noise. She buried her nose in his armpit and closed her eyes. She traced the inside of his thigh and tasted salt. The sounds they made were close to screams. What, she got an armpit fetish? I don't know. Tell me, ladies. Do you love sniffing armpits? Is that y'all's thing? It didn't seem to matter. Nothing did. She let them rise from somewhere deep in her chest, like she imagined opera singers did. The clap of flesh against flesh, hair lacquered to skin with spit. The opportunity to forget. Amanda thought of the best, worst things. That's what sexual fantasy was. One dick, two dicks, three dicks, four. She thought of GH leering at her from the threshold, then coming into the room to offer some pointers, to encourage Clay in his fucking, to, sure, why not, fuck her himself. Fuck, forget. She came once, twice. What was left on her stomach was enough to fill a shot glass. Was the work of a younger man. It was enough to make a baby. You needed so little for that. They could make 2, 3, 10, an army of them. Alternate versions of the children they already had. Pink and clean and healthy and strong. A new world order. Because the old world was so out of order. Interesting he used that phrase, New World Order. Amanda propped herself up on her elbows. The stuff slid down her like a snail on a sedge onto that beautiful white duvet. Clay was out of breath. Fucking her like that was like inflating 50 pool floats. Sometimes he could picture a tumor blossoming in his lungs, black and terrible. Still, you couldn't live without risk. He lay on his stomach, then rolled onto his back. The sweat on his skin had its intended cooling effect. I love you. His voice emerged hoarse after all those exhalations and exhortations. He did not feel cowed by what they had just done. He felt restored. He thought of Ruth and vowed that when they got back to their apartment, he would listen to Swan Lake. And he did love Amanda. He loved her. He loved. You endured as long as that was the case. It felt insincere to return a declaration of love. An echo was just a trick of physics. She felt free. I'm worried about Archie. It was maybe the best sex they'd have had. Though, of course, pleasure, like pain, was so soon forgotten. He'll be okay. We'll get home. We'll see Dr. Wilcox. She prodded at the stain on the bedspread, worried. Who cares about that? He dipped a finger into his semen like a quill into ink. He wrote phantom letters on her belly. She'd strip this bed too, leave the linens on the floor of the laundry room. Maybe when we're back, we can do something special. It's still our vacation. We could drive out to Hoboken and check into a hotel with a rooftop pool. I bet that would be cheap. I want to stop at a diner on the way home. Clay was hungry right then. One of those old-fashioned places. Chrome, jukeboxes, corned beef hash. The only things a person ever wanted were food and home. A staycation. The movies. Go to the Met. Dinner at a sit-down Chinese restaurant with those silver pots of tea and orange slices when they bring the bill. The life they had was perfect. Clay imagined the end of Summer City, the shimmer of heat, the drip from window units overhead, the chorus of ice cream trucks, office buildings leaking air conditioning onto the humid sidewalks where fat tourists were wandering dumbstruck. It would be enough for him. Marble countertops in this perfect swimming pool and the touch-responsive light switches were all well and good, but, be it ever so humble, etc. You don't think anything's wrong with Rose, do you? Briefer moment of surrender, then orgasm. Clay began reflexively to say that everything was fine, but he did not believe it. And anyway, in matters of fact, belief was not salient. She seems okay to me. Did you notice something? No, Amanda swallowed, a hand at her throat. Was something wrong with her? Do you feel okay? I feel normal. Feel like myself. Clay had never been the most observant of men. Amanda stood. She wiped her stomach with a pair of his folded boxer shorts. Her arms, her legs, her waist, they showed her 43 years. There was that sway, the gentle ripple of the excess flesh, the subtle give, though it felt nice in your hand, soft to the touch, naturally. There were days she rounded her shoulders, wanted not to be seen. Mostly she was the kind of woman interested in blending in. The way she wore her hair, the kinds of clothes she favored. Amanda was a type. She was not ashamed of that. But there were moments, this was one, where she felt individual and perfect. Maybe it was just the barely perceptible reverberations of the orgasm. She was a thing beautiful to behold, stained and sweaty and sagging, almost smooth and ripe and desired. Humans were monsters, but also perfect creations. She felt that is termed sexy, but is really just an animal satisfaction in being an animal. Had she been a deer, she'd have leapt over a branch. Had she been a bird, she'd have lifted into the sky. Had she been a house cat, she'd have run her own tongue over herself. She was a woman, so she stretched and shifted the weight from one leg to the other like a statue from antiquity. Let's go smoke. Clay, adolescent, was proud of his performance, like he'd heaved a shot, put or sunk a basketball. She'd soiled his underwear, so he stalked to the door naked. There was no grace to it. His dick disrupted symmetry, an insult to beauty. Put on your clothes. What's wrong with sitting naked in the night air and smoking? Well, Ruth and G.H. Who cares? Clay pulled open the door, but it was Amanda who noticed. Interruption in the pane of glass. A crack that was more than a flaw. It was thin but deep, stretched for inches, a slash, a rent. Look at that. Clay peered at the glass. He put his hand in hers. This wasn't here before. She dropped her voice, not wanting to be overheard. You sure? A mumble, lips puckered around the cigarette. Amanda traced the crack with her finger. It was from the noise, a noise big enough to crack glass, noise as a tangible thing. She shivered from the cool air, and then reminder too. She closed the door behind her, stood naked in the chill air, unprotected by clothes, a dare to the night and whatever else was out there. Alright, so I want to go a little deeper into the whole siren thing. I did notice, though, it is strange because if you actually think about it, although Starbucks refers to it as a siren, it's actually a mermaid, but I don't know. I mean, if they want to refer to it as a siren, we'll look into sirens, unless it's a distraction. Dun dun dun! Sirens in mythology. Powers, legends, and symbolism. Mythology is a treasure trove of stories that have captivated the human imagination for centuries, weaving together the real and the fantastical in ways that continue to fascinate us. Among these tales, the legends of the Sirens stand out, blending beauty, danger, and music into narratives that have echoed through time. If you ever found yourself intrigued by these mythical creatures, you are in for a treat. Let's delve into the world of sirens and mythology, exploring their origins, powers, and the myths that have made them the subject of fascination. What is a siren in mythology? In Greek mythology, sirens are often depicted as enchanting creatures, possessing the head of a beautiful woman and the body of a bird. However, interpretations vary, with some stories describing them more akin to mermaids. Okay, so we weren't completely wrong or off track. Blending the features of women and fish. But beyond their appearance, what truly defines a siren is their irresistible song, known to lure sailors to their doom on treacherous rocks. The origins of sirens in Greek mythology. Sirens in Greek mythology are considered daughters of the river god Archelaus and a muse, most commonly Melpomene or Terpsichore, Terpsichore, Terpsichore. Their names are not universally agreed upon. We might have to do a deep dive on those three right there. Their names are not universally agreed upon, but some of the most commonly cited are Thalcippe, Peisenoi, and Aglope. These creatures were initially considered companions of Persephone, and I do know her. She's like a goddess of seasons, I believe, like fall, winter, yeah. And upon her abduction by Hades, they were transformed into their bird woman form as a punishment for not preventing the abduction. Sirens versus mermaids, understanding the difference. While sirens and mermaids are often conflated in modern portrayals traditionally, they have distinct origins and characteristics. Mermaids are aquatic creatures with a human upper body and a fish's tail, known for their beauty and sometimes benevolent nature. In contrast, sirens are primarily known for their mesmerizing music and malevolent intent towards sailors. The powers of sirens beyond the song. The sirens' most famous attribute is their song, a powerful, irresistible melody that captivates all who hear it, compelling them to steer their ships towards danger. But their influence goes beyond just their music. It's their ability to tap into the deepest desires of their victims, offering them what they most long for, only to lead them to their demise. This aspect of the siren myth explores themes of temptation, desire, and the difficult pursuit of unattainable dreams. Are sirens good or bad? Labeling sirens as purely evil or good, this is probably a good segment for Christians, because I do notice within the Christian community there is the whole everything's bad, everything's demons, So, labeling sirens as purely evil or good oversimplifies their role in mythology. While they are often portrayed as bad, leading sailors to their deaths, some interpretations suggest a more nuanced view, portraying them as complex beings trapped in a cursed existence. This adds depth to their mythological character, inviting reflection on the nature of temptation and the dual aspects of beauty and danger. Stories of Sirens, the Odyssey and beyond. Sirens feature heavily in Greek myths and legends, from famous stories like the Odyssey. It's one of my favorite books. Maybe one day we'll cover some of the Odyssey. If not, I'll read along with commentary. I think it's good shit, and it's conspiracy related. It's gods and goddesses, fallen angels, hero worship. Gets into all that deep stuff. To less known tales of transformation. Here are 4 fascinating stories of sirens to dip your toes into. The Odyssey. The most famous encounter with sirens comes from Homer's Odyssey, where Odysseus, advised by Circe, orders his men to plug their ears with beeswax, and ties himself to the mast of a ship so he can hear the siren song without succumbing to it. This tale showcases the cunning of Odysseus and the allure and danger of the sirens, representing the challenges sailors face navigating the unknown. Jason and the Argonauts, a musical duel with Orpheus. In the epic tale of Jason and the Argonauts' quest for the Golden Fleece, the heroes encounter the sirens whose seductive songs threaten to lead them to disaster. Forewarned by their wise advisors, The Argonauts are protected by the music of Orpheus, whose lyre's melodies are so beautiful that they drowned out the Sirens' calls, allowing the crew to pass safely. The story contrasts with the Odyssey by presenting a peaceful overcoming of the Sirens' threat, highlighting the power of art and music as a counter to seduction and danger. The Sirens and the death of their companions. Another lesser known tale involves the Sirens in a tragic narrative where their inability to lure the Argonauts leads to dire consequences. It is said the Sirens were cursed to live only until someone heard their song and escaped, a curse fulfilled by the Argonauts' successful passing. Devastated by their failure, the Sirens threw themselves into the sea, and they transformed into rocks, or in some versions, perished altogether. This story adds a layer of fatalism to the Sirens' myths, portraying them as victims of their nature and the whims of the gods. Sirens' symbolism and interpretation. In mythology, sirens symbolize the temptation that leads to a dangerous path, often interpreted as a warning against the pursuit of hedonism or the dangers lurking beneath alluring exteriors. They embody the challenge of resisting what seems irresistible, a lesson that resonates across cultures and ages. So we'll cover two more things and then we'll wrap it up. Siren iconography and ancient art. The depiction of sirens in ancient art provides a fascinating window into how the ancients perceived these creatures and how these perceptions have evolved. Initially, sirens were represented as birds with the heads of women, sometimes with arms featured in various pieces of pottery and sculptures. This imagery highlights their nature as creatures that blend the familiar with the fantastical, embodying the allure and danger of the unknown. As time progressed, the iconography of sirens began to shift, particularly in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, where they were increasingly depicted as mermaid-like figures, with the bodies of women and the tails of fish. This evolution reflects changing perceptions of sirens and their mythos, aligning them more closely with the sea and its mysteries. In ancient art, sirens are often shown playing musical instruments, such as lyres and flutes, which underscores their connection to the enchanting and deadly power of music. This motif is prevalent in Greek pottery and Roman mosaics, illustrating the cultural importance of the siren myth and its themes of temptation, danger, and the irresistible allure of the unknown. The transformation in the visual portrayal of the sirens from bird women to fish-tailed maidens mirrors broader shifts in mythological storytelling, where elements are adapted to fit their time's taste, values, and artistic conventions. Today, sirens continue to inspire artists, writers, and filmmakers, demonstrating the enduring power of these mythical beings to captivate and intrigue. Modern interpretations and inspirations. The allure of sirens has seamlessly transitioned into modern literature, music, and film, showcasing their versatility as symbols and enduring impact on contemporary culture. In literature, sirens have moved beyond mythological origins to become metaphors for temptation and obsession. For the example, in Ulysses by James Joyce, the Sirens chapter uses the lure of these mythical creatures as a framework to explore the themes of seduction and desire in the bustling, urban setting of the early 20th century Dublin. In music, the Siren's call has been interpreted both literally and metaphorically, inspiring operas such as Claude Debussy's The Prodigal Son, where the Siren's theme is central, and in popular music, where the references to sirens often symbolize irresistible attraction and danger. Bands and songs frequently use the term siren to evoke a sense of enchantment and peril. Film and television have not been immune to the Sirens' charms, with numerous adaptations and inspirations drawn from their mythology. Movies like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou by Coen Brothers reimagine the Siren song in a Southern Gothic context, while TV, such as Siren, brings the myth into a contemporary setting, exploring the interaction between sirens and humans in a modern coastal town. So there you all have it. Got a little bit of a Leave the World Behind deep dive on Starbucks and Sirens. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and you all have a good day.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.